This is where I really believe you're going to start seeing something that makes Premier very unique. We're going to talk about how to help your hostess by coaching her so she can have a successful show. What I want you to look at is something that your sponsor should have sent you, and it's a successful jewelry show tracker. It should look like a chart that you can fill in your hostesses and keep track of where you're at in helping her and preparing her for her jewelry show. We're going to use that as a guide, and there are several other systems, but I want to encourage you, start with the system that we use. If that doesn't work for you, you can develop a different system, but this system does work. So give it a chance and try using it for your first 8 to 10 jewelry shows. Use it for your quick start period, okay? What I want you to do is, as you've gotten the shows booked into your quick start calendar, I want you to begin to list them on this sheet. Now, give yourself a little bit of space. In fact, I fill in the dates first on this sheet. So the second column, the dates that I want, I fill those in first, and then come back and fill in the names as I get them booked on my calendar. And the very first piece of information we want to find out from our hostess is, how does she prefer you contact her? We have just discovered from a Direct Sales Association survey that they did last year that hostesses have very much changed in their method of communication over the last few years. When I first started Premier in 1998, we communicated by phone. We did very little emailing. Everything was done by a phone, and mostly by a home phone. That has changed drastically. Most people don't even have a home phone anymore. In fact, the survey told us that over 50% of our hostesses would prefer to communicate by text. Is that crazy? But it's very easy too. I know that it's quick and easy for me to shoot a text out when it's just a little piece of information. So find out from your hostess how she prefers you communicate with her. Is it by text? Is it by phone? Is it email? Is it Facebook message? But ask her and find out, because if you will use that method, you will get a whole lot more communication through to your hostess, and you won't be nearly as frustrated because you found out how she communicates. I do tell my hostesses, though, even though I will text you and we can communicate that way, or I will Facebook or email you, there are a couple of times that I need to talk on the phone. And I hate to feel like the jewelry stalker. So if you would save me in your phone, and when I call, pick up so that we can talk and I don't feel like the jewelry stalker. Would that be okay? And I let her know it's only going to be a couple of times. So I found out how she prefers to communicate. Then I want to give her her hostess packet. Now, in your quick start shows, pretty much the only way you can give someone their hostess packet is to give it to them or mail it to them. So if you can, set a time and meet with her, or give it to her and set a time that you can go over it on the phone. Once you start doing jewelry shows and getting your bookings from those shows, then again, there are several ways that you can go about hostess coaching. You need to make it work for you. It's not how you do it, but that you do it, and then that you cover this information when you coach your hostesses. So don't get hung up on, oh, I have to do it this certain way. It's okay, make it work for you. So get your hostess packet to her. Then what you want to do is take the time to go through everything in this hostess packet. The second thing that your sponsor should have forwarded to you is your worksheet for this video, and it's a hostess coaching cue sheet. Pull that out right now, and we're going to make a cue sheet. You're going to make a cue sheet for yourself. I'm going to coach you and explain what and why I'm doing it, and I want you to make notes so that as we go through this cue sheet, you write down what you want to make sure and cover, and then take this with you when you do your initial hostess coachings. I would say, I think you should practice this at least through your quick start 12. Take this cue sheet with you. Even if you don't need it by the last few, that's okay. Use this, or use it when you're talking on the phone. So when I am talking with my hostess, let's pretend that we're meeting face to face. So I'm just coaching you, okay? This is my favorite way to coach a hostess, but it doesn't always happen this way. I would say, wow, I am so excited about your jewelry show. Are you? I want to start out by reminding her why she's having the jewelry show. I so remember how long your wish list was when you came to your sister's jewelry show, and I know you cannot wait to win it for free. So get her re-excited about it. Then number 1, confirm the details. Okay, I have your jewelry show down for July 21st at 6:30, and we're having it at your house. Is that all correct? Excellent. Okay, the second thing, let's talk about your invitations and how I can best help you to invite your friends. Tell me, how do your friends communicate with you? Do you Facebook a lot? Do you text? Do you talk on the phone? Do you see them regularly? Tell me how you communicate, and then listen and find out from her. Most often, I find I have to use kind of a shotgun approach with invitations. I might need to give her each of several different ways to invite. Let's go over some ways that you could help your hostess. Let's say she said, well, I see a lot of friends at church. Excellent. Well, how many postcard invitations or mini catalog invitations, whichever you're deciding to use up whatever you have in your packet first. So use up your postcards and then use up your mini catalogs, and then you can decide what you liked best. How many would you like for handing out at church and at the kids' activities, and kind of go over some of these things on her packet right here in the second section where it says invite friends. We're on number 2. How many would you like me to give you to hand out? And then you make a note, and you're going to give her or send her that many invitations. Or maybe you just make it a habit of making up 15 or 20 and putting them in your packet. All right, do some of your friends Facebook. Okay, let's create a Facebook event. I'll get that set up, and I'll put information up there about the show and make you the host so you can invite all your friends. Do your friends text? Excellent. Let me also text you an invitation, and you can forward that out. So talk about those ways that she can invite her friends. We want to invite people with the official invitation probably around the 2 week before their show mark, if we can. But again, don't get hung up on this. If you have someone that's going to do a show for you within a week, no problem. Get her a few things that she can print or forward, and she can still have a great jewelry show. Some people have even told me, yeah, I'll just call everybody. No problem. However I can help her is how I want to help with invitations. Many jewelers will also mail invitations for their hostess. So you'll see in the top section right under the date and time of jewelry show, it says guest list due. If you're going to choose to mail invitations for your hostess and use those invitation labels, then tell her when you need those back. Some girls will even say, here are the guest labels. I want you to get these ready, and then when we meet, bring me your guest labels and I'll bring you your hostess packet. That way you make sure you get addresses if you're going to mail invitations. All of these ways will work, but definitely find out from your hostess how she communicates with people, and then help her to invite and over-invite. So after that, I'm going to have asked her, how do your friends communicate? We're going to go over those methods, and I'll say, you want to over-invite. I'm reading right off the hostess packet. Only 1 out of 4 people that you invite generally can attend. So if you want to have 10 people at your jewelry show, we want to invite at least 40. That seems like a lot, but don't panic. They're not all going to show up. What we will find out, though, is that some of your friends will immediately tell you, I cannot make it. No problem. This is going to help you win your first $50 gift card. And now I've moved on to number 3 on your cue sheet. That first $50 gift card you win for having $100 in advanced orders. That's orders that are placed and paid for by the time I get to your jewelry show. Okay, so define that. So as you're working on your hostess packet, I want you to make a list of 30 to 40 people you want to invite, and then figure out how you're going to invite them and kind of check them off as you get that out to them. The ones that respond back to you that they can't make it, you put them over on this side under this section where your $50 gift card is. I even like to take a pen and circle these things before, as I'm going through it with her, to draw a circle around that $50 gift card and remind her how important that is and stress it. So when you find 3 or 4 girls that say, oh, I can't come, not a problem. I'm trying to get $100 in pre-orders too. Would you mind to look at a book? You might even take it to work and get a few orders. And if you do, I'll let you have one of my half-price pieces. Those are just some things that you could offer to your hostess that she could use her catalogs that she has to not only get pre-orders herself, but maybe even have a secret girlfriend that's going to be out there passing the catalogs around too. And she could share one of her half-price pieces with that girl that goes out and helps her get pre-orders. At this point, I open up my packet and I talk to her about how she gets pre-orders. So I pull out all the information, or if we're on the phone, I have her pull it out. And I'll say, here are your catalogs. Now, right now we have 2, but again, next week we're going to go back to just the 1 catalog again. But make sure you've got 2 sets in there, however many catalogs we have at the time, and 2 catalogs in here. Something that's very important to note is that our catalog pictures are actual size. So if you see this earring, that's exactly the size of that earring in the catalog. Isn't that easy to shop from? You'll also want to see that some things have one name for 3 different pieces of jewelry. So just be careful when you're taking the order that if she wants the necklace, we write down the necklace name, item number, and price. And don't get it confused with the earring or the bracelet. Those are 2 catalog notes I always point out to the hostess. Then I will say, when your friend decides what she would like to order, and I do use an advanced order form instead of just using the regular customer receipts, because it has some directions on it. So have her fill out the information at the top. We need her to complete all of that, including address and phone number, because if she should have a problem with her jewelry, we need that to register her golden guarantee. And you'll need that to place the order. You'll need an address and a phone number to put her order in. So ask for that information. Then have her fill out what she would like to order, and then you don't have to do any math. When you add up what she has ordered, then you just go straight over here to the sales tax chart. Say she ordered $63. Now go to the higher side of the chart. Don't say she ordered $8. Well, first of all, there isn't even anything in there for $8 anymore, so we're going to have to change these tax charts. But anyway, she ordered $63. There's her shipping and her sales tax. Just go straight down the form, and this is exactly what she writes her check for. So her subtotal in jewelry and what she writes her check for. She can pay with a check, make it payable to me, or she can pay with a credit card. I do need her security code, and I need her zip code. I need her address in order to process a credit card without having it there to swipe. Or she can give you cash, but collect payment at the time you take the order, so that those advanced orders are done and ready and will qualify for your $50 gift card. All right, so moving on, the next thing we'll say is, and some of your friends are going to be so excited when they see those books, they're probably going to want to have a show themselves. You win another $50 gift card when 3 of your friends schedule a future jewelry show. Now, most of my hostesses have one friend that can't make it to the show but wants to host her own show. So as you're talking to your friends and they can't make it to the jewelry show, ask them if they might enjoy having some friends over, or just kind of pick out somebody that you know she loves to have things like this. She loves to host parties. She loves jewelry. She loves to have people over at her house. Ask her if she would be one of your bookings. Then we'll probably get at least one more booking at your jewelry show. And then here's the great part. We get new catalogs every 6 months. So we're just about to get our new July catalogs, but we will get another new catalog in January. So you can even rebook off of your own jewelry show for another future show, maybe 6 months from now when the new catalog comes out, or even right before Christmas. And you can be one of those 3 bookings too. So when we're playing that game at your jewelry show, like we did at your sister's show, you can play again too, and it can be one of your bookings. Make sure at this point you make yourself a note to remind her that she can be one of her bookings. This is so important, and you need to let her know up front so she can begin thinking about that she can play at her own jewelry show and be one of her 3 bookings. This is also one of those tips we shared with you in the earlier video that Elizabeth Draper says if you will always rebook your hostess, you will always have a business that's full on your calendar. So you do want to rebook your hostess. Okay, at this point, we turn the packet over. I remind her about the golden guarantee. Remember that if someone has never been to a premier show or they don't know about premier jewelry, they need to know that our jewelry is guaranteed. That's kind of all I hit on that one. Moving on. This is the most exciting part of your jewelry show, and that is picking out your favorites. You want to pick out at least your top 10 favorites, because most of our hostesses win in excess of $200 in free jewelry. So you want to have a great wish list. So go through the catalog and have this picked out, have this ready, so that the night of your show you can try these things on. We can already have this picked out. Then from here, I'm going to go down to number 7 on your cue sheet, which is talking about when you get all of your free jewelry, all you pay on this is sales tax and $4 shipping. So say you win $200 free. 7% sales tax in Indiana would be $14 plus $4 shipping. So you would get $200 worth of jewelry for $18. It's not very much. I just want you to know about that tax and shipping before we get to your jewelry show. Okay, that's all you need to mention there, but you do need to mention that. Then I'll move on and say, here's the rest of your hostess plan. We've already talked about your two $50 gift cards. So that's $100 in free jewelry you can win. And it's so important, especially that $100 in pre-sales, because you also get 30% of everything sold at your show. So $100 in pre-sales is $30 plus a $50 gift card. So if you have $100 in orders before we even start your show, you already have $80 in free jewelry. Isn't that amazing? And if you've already talked to 2 friends that are going to book and you're going to rebook, then I walk in the door, you have $100 in sales and $130 in free jewelry. Shut up, that's good. And I like to make my hostess laugh there. But you also are going to receive 30% of everything sold at your show. So we definitely want to have lots of girls there, lots of different groups of girls there, different age groups, different circles, so that your sales are high on your jewelry show and you get lots and lots of free jewelry from that too. Okay, then briefly I'll mention you can also half price shop on your jewelry show. If you win all of your free jewelry, maybe down to item number 7, and you want to finish that off and have a few gift items you want to get to, no problem. You shop at half price if you decide to purchase anything on your show. You get 4 to 8 items at half price. Do you know what's the best? This time of year we're Christmas shopping, so you could knock out your Christmas shopping at half price and stash those things away for later in the year, and you're ready to go with Christmas. And your half price items count as sales at your show too. So you even get 30% of your own half price shopping and more free jewelry. Don't worry about trying to figure that out. Just make a big list, okay? Then I'm going to move on to my favorite section, which is the last thing I want to show you is that Premier allows you to make your jewelry show your payday also. Did you know that as jewelry ladies, we get paid every time we do a jewelry show? We don't have to stock any inventory. There are no quotas or territories. We have a very, very generous commission plan where we make 50% on what we sell and we make 10% on 3 levels of people that we would sponsor. And our hostess plan is what keeps us in business. From here, let me give you a suggestion. At this point, if I'm sitting face to face with her, I just go ahead and share the marketing plan with her in about 5 to 7 minutes, just briefly. And I usually use one of the Premier brochures. This is an old one, but you get the idea. And I share with her just the Cliff Notes version. Or if I'm talking with her on the phone, or I've coached her at a show and I can't necessarily take another 5 or 10 minutes and do that, I send her our call, and this should be in the information that your sponsor is sharing with you. But it's a phone call that's 14 minutes long, and it's my husband and I describing how Premier works. So I'll give her this information and say, you know what, I'll give you another $25 extra free jewelry on your jewelry show just for listening to this call and telling me what the password is and answering a couple of questions about it. Just simple. But I want you to listen to this because you could also not just get the free jewelry on your show, you could make the profit and have all the future bookings to start your very own jewelry business. And I like to ask questions here and see what she thinks, but definitely get the information to every single hostess. She deserves this. She deserves to know that her jewelry show could be her payday. If Marilyn had not had this as a habit, I wouldn't have even found out about Premier, because because I just booked a jewelry show. I didn't tell her I was interested in the business because I really wasn't. I was just a little curious. But when she shared this with me when I scheduled my jewelry show, it really was a blessing for me. I'm so glad she did. So share that. Don't be afraid to share that. That is not pushy. Pushy is deciding she doesn't want to before you even offer it to her. That would be pushy. Or if we demanded that she become a jewelry lady. No, just offering is very polite and very kind, and it's what we should do as jewelry ladies. Okay, so we come here. I'm going to say if you have any questions at all throughout the course of preparing for your jewelry show, here's my information. Make sure you've put a label on here with your phone number and email and your personal website, and you'll want to give her your code if you set up a personal website so that she can send people there and talk to her about catalogs being online. Then I flip it back over because I love to end with this section. So let's just review. Before your jewelry show, make out your guest list. Think of everybody you want to invite, and then let's get them invited. Personally talk to as many people as you can. Personally hand them an invitation. Personally text them an invitation. Send them a private message on Facebook or give them a call. That's going to increase your attendance by quite a lot. Then you want to show the catalogs around to the girls that tell you that they can't come. See how we're just using this as a review to go down and go back over the things that you wanted to do. Ask your friends who wants to get the next free jewelry. Make a list of your top 10 favorites. Oh, that's the exciting part. And then the night of your show, we want to plan simple refreshments. And let's talk about how we're going to set up. Can I set my jewelry up on the kitchen table or the dining room table or the bar? The best arrangement is for the jewelry to be close to the food so that people can browse and shop and snack at the same time. So if I were here in my house, I would set the jewelry on my table and my snacks over on the bar, and then we would do the jewelry presentation in the living room. I don't have to be next to my jewelry to do my jewelry presentation because I'll take my tray that I'm going to demonstrate in the other room. But keep your snacks very simple. You don't need to serve a buffet. It's okay if you just want to do chips and salsa and some soft drinks or brownies and a Diet Coke. Anything like that is just fine. And we want to serve those as people are arriving so that it keeps the flow of the show going. They come in, they have a snack and a drink while they look at the jewelry, then we sit down, and since snacks and drinks are already over, once the jewelry show's over, it takes people straight into shopping. It really does keep the flow going for your jewelry show. The last most important step is the day before, reminding everybody, again in a personal way, not just posting it on Facebook, but posting it on Facebook, texting, calling, any way we can get in front of your friends to remind them about the jewelry show, just like the doctor's office does for us. In every appointment that we have now, we get a call or a text the day before to remind us. All right, do you have any questions about your show coming up or anything else you need help with? And that's exactly how I hostess coach my hostesses. Now that is my initial coaching right here. I also want to, at some point, send her a save the date as soon as she's chosen her date. Let's get that out and let her start checking with her friends to make sure that's a great date. This will save many a jewelry show, because if you're standing at a jewelry show, she's picked a date on your calendar, you quickly jump on text on photo or photo or red stamp or however you have set up your save the date, and you quickly throw that date in her name and send it to her, and she begins to forward it out. Well, guess what? If she has picked a horrid date and her family starts saying, oh, that's so-and-so's wedding shower, oh, I forgot, or it goes out to somebody who says, that's tournament weekend for the ball game, oh, I forgot, saves the date for you. You just pick something else new out instead of getting all the way past the invitations and now it's a week before the show and nobody's coming. So you want to save that date if you can. The next thing is to make sure that you send her the OP information, the opportunity information, like this phone call. If you don't share it with her in some way, let her know her show day can be her payday. And then you're going to follow up. What does she think? Within 24 to 48 hours of sending her that information, follow up if she hasn't sent it back to you. Hey, what did you think of the call? Oh, I haven't had a chance to listen yet. Oh, not a problem. Do you think you'd have a chance to listen tonight? Remember, it's only 14 minutes long. And find out and then follow up with her again. Keep asking. You need to offer that money to her. Guess what? When somebody's being offered money, sometimes they're kind of standoffish. keep asking, keep offering. She might take you up on that training show. That's not pushy, that's following through. Make notes of how you took care of invitations and that you sent them out. Sometimes we'll get this information, put it in our calendar, and if we're not careful to keep track of this and keep this with your calendar so you can look and see where you're at in this track, you could forget, and then, oh no, I didn't send her invitations and now her show's 6 days away. We don't have time, we've got to postpone the show. So see, we're trying to do all these things to help you reduce any reasons why you might cause a postponement or cancellation. So send your invitations. A week before, you want to remind her of what she's working on with her gift cards. It takes women usually 3 times of hearing something for it to sink in. So you coached her, you reviewed her, and now you're going to remind her. And that way she's going to keep in front of her that $100 in pre-sales, 3 bookings, $100 in pre-sales, 3 bookings. That's just her mantra, getting ready for her jewelry show. And then the day before, remind her it's time to remind people. You can do these things with a phone call, with a text, with a red stamp. Any of that works. And then the last part here is make sure you show up to do the show. This is going to set you and her up for a fun night. You're going to have amazing jewelry shows. Now, what sets us apart, what makes us very different, is that we take the time to show our hostesses how to have a great show. We offer her everything Premier has to offer, and we help her all along the way to be successful. If you will keep track of something like this little jewelry show tracker and just glance at this at least a couple of times a week and make sure you're on track. I like to highlight where I should be with each hostess at the beginning of the week. Okay, these are the things I need to finish before this week is out. I need to make sure everything I've highlighted is done. That helps me not to feel scattered, not to drop balls, and to be able to work on my business and put it away. Because my family is more important to me than my Premier business. So I want to be able to work on this and then set it aside. So develop systems, develop tracks to run on just like this in your habits of doing successful jewelry shows, and this business will work great for you. And your hostesses will love you. Some of them will become some of your best friends. You will enjoy years and years of consistently being with groups of girls, and you will develop new jewelers and friends for life and hostesses for life and huge fans out of your Premier hostesses by loving on them, taking care of them, helping them all along the way, staying in communication with them, and helping them have a great jewelry show. This shouldn't take up your whole life. This should take a couple of minutes every week to just jump in there and have a quick little communication with your hostess. You are going to do great. Make up that hostess cue sheet, your hostess coaching cue sheet, even if you need to rewind and watch that video again and make that cue sheet up and practice it. Your sponsor is going to want to role play this with you when you call her back, so you get a little practice before you have to try it with your first hostess. So I think you have everything ready. These were already made up. You're getting those shows on your calendar. Let's get their information and their invitations out to them, and let's help them have a great jewelry show.